made me mad.
Penn knocked Sherk out in the final seconds of round 3, becoming the
fatality.
Damn! Because he really made...
Guys who have extreme cardio, like that's a real weapon. Power is important, but cardio is one of the most important things, because when you get tired, you don't think right. You're just not as effective. You don't make good decisions.
37, 4-1 in his MMA career. The only time he's lost is to a champion.
He's known for his ability to take punishment and keep coming and just take guys down and put elbows in their face.
I was considered one of the best athletes in the world with one of the best physiques in the world.
That's my only regret, is listening to Dana White telling me to keep it on the feet. I think he wanted me to lose, if I'm going to be honest with you.
Him telling you to keep it on the feet, that's illegal.
In 2 weeks...
Yo, what's up with Dana, bro? I ain't gonna lie, he did look like an action figure, though. But
2 weeks later, I got cut by the UFC.
Check the playlist, you know what I'm saying? But hey, let me know in the comments y'all want me to react to next. But hey, I ain't never heard of him, so it's my first time reacting to him. So hey man, let me know in the comments if y'all already knew who this was.
1973 in St. Francis, Minnesota. Sean Sherk grew up with a strong wrestling and weightlifting background, training from a young age.
I started wrestling when I was 7. It's always been a family sport of ours, so wrestling goes all the way back to my grandparents. My father wrestled, my older brother wrestled, all my cousins wrestled, so wrestling for me was basically just like what we're supposed to do. I was a natural at it, just fell in love with it.
At age 7, he had his first taste of competition.
7 years old, first match, I got pinned in like 20 seconds. My second match, same day, got pinned in about 20 or 30 seconds. I was originally not very good at it. Next tournament's next week, because we wrestled every single weekend. And my dad actually told me, says, you need to be more aggressive. The second tournament I went to, I went out there just fired up, ended up taking second place at the tournament. Being aggressive just in life in general has the ability to take you a long ways in life. And I think I learned that lesson really early as a wrestler.
During his high school years, Sherk competed in wrestling while continuing to build his physique. He relied on pressure, strength, and endurance.
I competed till I was 19. As I loved wrestling, I didn't like school.
As Sherk chose not to attend college, he no longer had a structured outlet to continue wrestling competitively.
And that was kind of where my wrestling career ended.
In 1994, Sherk watched his first UFC event.
I saw my first UFC. It was UFC #2, first one they televised. See Hoist Gracie, Ken Shamrock. And, I grew up as a wrestler, but I was a fighter too. I got in a lot of fights. Not a big guy. People underestimate me. I used to fight a lot, and I won them all.
He immediately knew this was what he wanted to pursue in the future.
When I was about 20 years old, and I started flipping through the yellow pages trying to find some fighting styles, and the closest thing I could find was a judo school.
But quickly realized it wasn't.
Y'all remember them phone books, man. Y'all youngins don't remember. I'm still younger, but hey, y'all remember them phone books, man. But bro,
challenging him in the way he needed.
There were black belts in that room, and I could hit him with a double leg, and they couldn't stop me from taking him down on day #1.
And before long, he moved on in search of a tougher test. In 1994, Sherk joined Greg Nelson's Minnesota Martial Arts Academy in Minnesota, where he officially began training in mixed martial arts.
First day I walked into the room, Greg Nelson, the owner, walks right up to me and tells me he used to wrestle for the Minnesota Gophers. And I'm like, ding, I think I'm onto something here, right? Once I found the academy, I was home.
There he developed a Superman physique on a compact frame and cardio for days.
So I had a trainer actually approach me with this, called it Caveman training. And the point of it was that we're working everything as if we were fighting somebody, basically. So I'm working my strength, I'm working muscle endurance, I'm working cardio, I'm working my plyometrics.
It's a 250-pound tire that he was flipping repeatedly over and over again. After a minute, he went to the cable crawls, and that went by, then he goes to the chop station. He swings a 16-pound sledgehammer. After the chop station, he goes to the accelerator cables, the bear crawls. We did the rope pulls on the ground. Round 2 starts, do 2 minutes of hard cardio. Come on. After 2 minutes, we do what's called gorilla drills, over them laterally.
Let's go, Sean. Catch him.
2 minutes on the UBE. Then we go back to the gorilla drills again for another 30 seconds.
Round 3, we want to do some strengthening.
The medicine ball, core strength.
Goes to the mount punches, where he's got a dummy that he's in a mount position. The third exercise we did today was a plyometric push-up. Then the 4th station is the ab roller. The 4th round is the same as the 1st round. 5th round is then the same as the 2nd round.
Okay, it's right there.
This relentless conditioning.
man, look here. I can see why he built like that. I can see it. I just gotta see some of his fights. I gotta see how the conditioning is, but that's
would
crazy.
become a hallmark of his fights.
Throwing rocks around, flipping tires, hitting sledgehammers, but then we'd go wrestle for a couple minutes and hit pads. So we're kind of trying to mimic as much as we can as far as a fight goes. And the reason why he called it caveman training, because he was implementing a lot of things that other people weren't, like flipping tires, for instance. We were probably the first ones in the world to implement that.
Sherk made his pro MMA debut on June 19th, 1999.
My first fight, and I felt like I was on an airplane getting ready to jump out without a parachute. It's like, what the hell am I doing, man? This is crazy.
At a local Minnesota event, winning a unanimous decision over Roscoe Austin.
Just fought to the best of my ability. I was 99% wrestler and 1% striker with jiu-jitsu. That was it.
Over the next 2 years, he amassed a long undefeated streak in regional promotions. Notably, he defeated future UFC contender Karo Parisian twice in early 2000.
I felt like I was one of the best in the world at that time. That's what the best guys in the world do, is they go out there and prove it on a regular basis.
Sherk earned a UFC contract in early 2001.
My trainer just walks right into the gym. There's a big bulletin board, and he just writes Sean Sherk versus Tiki Justin UFC 30. Look at the board. I'm like, wait a second, what's that? That's how I was notified. I was in the gym training, getting ready for Karo, so I had to win that fight first, obviously. Otherwise, my UFC debut would have never happened.
So he had to fight another fight while he was, that's crazy. You know how much pressure that is?
His first fight at UFC 30, he beat veteran Tiki. His first fight at UFC 30, he beat veteran Tiki Gosen by TKO.
As far as his shoulder goes, yeah, he gave me his back. I suplexed him, and he made the biggest mistake somebody could do is he tried to post. You know, and as a wrestler, that's the first thing you know. If you're getting suplexed, you don't post. Then he popped his shoulder out.
For the winner, Sean.
Yeah, he popped his shoulder out.
After I beat Tiki, that was a one-fight deal.
In 2001, the UFC held only around 5 events per year.
And I was hoping they were going to sign me to a big contract, and the reason why they didn't sign me to a big contract is because they said, we already have a Matt Hughes, so we don't want 2 of those, 1 is enough.
With limited opportunities available, Sherk returned to the independent circuit, where he continued to rack up win after win. That momentum eventually earned him another shot in the UFC.
Jeffy has never...
Is he basically Matt Hughes, though? I mean, a stocky wrestler? But Matt Hughes was different, though. Matt Hughes was slamming people. Man, let me know what y'all think though in the comments.
Been defeated.
At UFC 36, he faced Jutaro Nakao and won by decision. He followed that performance at UFC 39, where he faced Benji Radash and secured a victory by doctor stoppage. After running his record to 22-0, Sherk received the call for the biggest fight of his career, a UFC welterweight championship bout against Matt Hughes.
I came into that fight at 22-0, so I was undefeated, you know, top 5 in the world. So I'm fighting this guy who is being dubbed as unbeatable.
Sean Sherk is a maniac. He wants that title. And that kid, without a doubt, is 100%.
Is that, I think I watched him too. I think I watched, not Buddy over here talking to Joe Rogan. I watched him before for sure. Forgot his name though. I think he did something. I think he killed his girlfriend or some shit. Quote me on that, because I think, I'm
prepared.
Not sure.
Yeah, he looks possessed. This is his big shot. Is the moment he's been waiting for his whole life.
I remember getting a phone call from Dana White a couple weeks before the fight. He called me and said, I want you to keep this fight on the feet. I'm gonna tell Matt the same thing. That wasn't my game plan, you know. And I fell for it. I left it all out there, and I fought and just kept getting up.
Sherk lost a hard-fought 5-round unanimous decision to Hughes, marking his first professional defeat.
That's what I learned, to stick to what I'm good at. My goal is to get my hand raised, because I lost that fight, and 2 weeks later I got cut by the UFC.
Why the hell would you listen to that? First of all, why would a fighter listen to the president? First of all.
So that was my thank you. Yes, I kept it on the feet. I tried to make you happy. I lost. Now I got cut from the show. So that's my only regret, is listening to Dana White telling me to keep it on the feet. I think he wanted me to lose, if I'm going to be honest with you.
Him telling you to keep it on the feet, that's the same thing that Elite XC did to Seth Petrozelli, and it ended up collapsing the whole organization because that's illegal.
The idiot Gary Shaw, he says that, we didn't do anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with paying a guy to stand up. We got no problem doing that. Yes, you scumbag. There is a problem with that. You, the consumer, the mixed martial arts fan, could go in and bet on this fight. But you don't know the scumbag promoters behind the scenes went in and paid him to not go to the ground. That's fucking illegal. If you think
that's fucking illegal, so what you do, bud?
Going to the ground is boring, that's called mixed martial arts. You fucking morons need to be in the kickboxing business.
After the Hughes fight, Sherk regrouped and returned to the regional scene, where he put together 3 straight victories. Those wins caught international attention, and soon after he received the call to compete on Japan's biggest stage, Pride Fighting Championships.
Welcome to Pride Fighting Championships.
Thank you very much.
To the Major League.
Yeah, well, that was
the Major League. I'm very excited. I'm just going to do the same thing I do in every fight. I'm going to come out 110%. I'm going to burn them on gas.
When I fought in Pride, it was the biggest show in the world.
Bass is in like 90% of my UFC videos, bro. Just by like
UFC really hadn't taken off here in the States yet. It was a big deal. It was such a cool experience because it was mainstream. Like, you would see fighters on TV, you'd see billboards, print ads, magazines. Like, the fans were absolutely amazing. And fans were chasing us down the street, asking us for autographs. I never experienced that here in the States. You know, people would yell at me and call me a loser and tell me to get a real job here, you know, back in those early days.
It was during his time in Japan that Sherk earned the nickname the Muscle Shark.
I don't know if you know this or not. Did you know that your nickname here is Muscle Shark?
Hey, I like it. I've been looking for a nickname. That sounds like a good one. I'll take it.
I didn't know I had a nickname. The Japanese fans are the ones that named me Muscle Shark. I liked it. From my understanding, you know, it's muscle because I obviously got the physique, and shark is Japanese kanji for shirk, and plus I'm really aggressive like a shark. So basically, like I said, there's some meaning to that nickname.
He defeated Ryuki Ueyama by unanimous decision.
Now is Oyama going, there's the pickup, and with authority.
Then moved back to America to continue competing on the independent circuit. Around this time, Sherk had a family to support, and the independent circuit simply wasn't paying enough for him to continue fighting.
I had kids, I got a house, I got a family, and I couldn't make a living fighting on these small shows, and I was working a full-time job as well.
Despite putting together a 9-fight win streak, the payouts were small.
I would train all day long. I worked second shift, and then I would work from 3 to 11, and I would train all morning, and then I'd train on my break. I would train. I trained again when I got home. So my life was basically, I was never around.
Faced with financial reality, Sherk stepped away from competition and started a flooring business.
And then I ended up having to walk away from the sport for a year. I started a hardwood flooring company. I started working at a factory, 33 wins, 1 loss, working at a factory. So again, just a tough pill to swallow. I've swallowed my pride a lot over the course of my career. And you just got to do what you got to do sometimes.
In 2005, The Ultimate Fighter debuted on television, and Sean Sherk watched the fight that helped put the UFC on the map.
And I saw this fight between Stephan Bonner and Forrest Griffin, which was just probably one of the best fights I've ever seen in my life. And immediately I'm like, this sport's going to blow up.
Not long after, he called his manager and asked him to reach out to the UFC to see if they would give him another shot.
Call the UFC and see if they're interested in bringing me back in. And then he makes a phone call a couple hours later. He says, I got a 3-fight deal for you, 12 weeks against George St. Pierre. And immediately...
Man, Dana out here, he don't like Buddy. He don't like Shine, bro. He don't like him, bro. He keep putting him, bro.
I quit my job on the spot.
He returned to the UFC in late 2005, riding a 12-fight win streak. Competing at welterweight, Sherk faced Georges St. Pierre.
And George was number 2 in the world, just an unstoppable force.
Throughout the fight, Sherk absorbed multiple takedowns, and in round 2, GSP stopped him by a TKO.
Taking a year off didn't help either. I lost that fight. I got a phone call, said the UFC was very impressed with how I fought. And my next fight was Diaz, and I had a little bit more time to prepare for that.
Not discouraged, Sherk returned with a full training camp and faced Nick Diaz at UFC 59, defeating him by unanimous decision.
You know, he was always known for talking shit, right? After the fight was over, he told me, he goes, I've got so much respect for you. He says, that's why I didn't talk shit about you before the fight. So I thought that was classy.
This win propelled him into title contention and set the stage for his championship bout later that year. With the UFC reinstating the lightweight championship, Sherk headlined UFC 64 against Kenny Florian for the vacant belt.
The other belt on the line tonight is at 155 pounds. The last man to wear the belt was Jens Pulver. The next man to wear the belt will be either Kenny Florian or Sean Sherk.
So I never made 155 before. I didn't even know if I could. But when the UFC calls and says, hey, can you make 155? We're giving you a world title fight. You say yes.
That's tough.
Probably 6 or 7 days before the fight, I completely tore my right shoulder.
Sherk dominated that 5-round fight, winning by a lopsided unanimous decision and claiming the UFC lightweight title.
Hey, he got a title.
Congratulations to Muscle Shark, the new king at 155 pounds.
Getting my hand raised and getting that belt wrapped around my waist was all worth it, and it was a pretty cool feeling.
Sherk's championship reign was marred by a major drug testing controversy. After his first title defense at UFC 73 versus Hermes Franca, Sherk tested positive for the steroid nandrolone.
The head commissioner of California at that time, and he called me, told me I tested positive for nandrolone. I didn't know what it was, never heard of it, couldn't even pronounce the word at the time, but I wanted to contest it, obviously. I hired a lawyer.
The California State Athletic Commission announced a 1-year suspension.
It says Sherk's opponent, Hermes Franca, also tested positive for steroids following the fight. Damn, both of them was juiced up.
$8,500 fine. In the meantime, the UFC stripped Sherk of the title, paving the way for BJ Penn versus Joe Stevenson for the newly vacant lightweight belt.
Me and Joe Daddy are fighting for the interim title. Sean Sherk is on appeal, his steroid abuse scandal or whatever you want to call it. And if Sean Sherk gets cleared, the winner of the interim championship will fight Sean Sherk for the steroid championship.
Sherk consistently maintained his innocence. He took multiple lie detector and polygraph tests and even paid for additional blood testing to prove he never knowingly took banned substances.
We had all of my supplements tested, so
I
went way above and beyond to show that I hadn't taken anything.
He also pointed out flaws in the testing process, noting later questions surrounding the laboratory procedures, and after a lengthy process, his ban was later reduced to 6 months.
They weren't willing to overturn, but what they did was they reduced my sentence from 12 months to 6 months. So that was their way of basically saying, okay, we don't, in my opinion, we don't think you did it. We're not going to overturn because I would have sued the shit out of them. But they reduced it to the point where I could fight again.
You know, I mean, realistically, I had so much evidence to show that I did not take nandrolone, and the commission wasn't big enough to admit that they were wrong. The UFC saw how much evidence I had. I went out of my way to prove myself innocent.
Despite his defense, the commission's ruling stood, and the drug test scandal remains the most controversial moment of Sherk's career.
I got a lot of negative publicity. Nobody would touch me as far as sponsorships go. I mean, I was considered one of the best athletes in the world with one of the best physiques in the world, and I couldn't get nutrition sponsors.
That's crazy. Yeah, they fucking up this man. Like, this man, yo, y'all can't do that to a man who works on his physique. Like, what y'all think in the comments? I think
I got booze, I got hate mail, death threats. It's just crazy. I remember calling Dana White afterward. I'm like, I want to sue these guys. And Dana says to me, he goes, you know, the thing is, Sean, you don't win against the state. He goes, how about this? He goes, I'm going to schedule a fight with you and BJ Penn right away, and you can start training for another fight.
You know, I got my belt taken away. Obviously, everyone knows that. So the next thing for me is to get that belt back. I'll be fighting BJ Penn. I still feel like the title belongs to me. You know, if you want to be the champ, you got to beat the champ, and I'm the champ, so.
The UFC then set up a title fight between BJ Penn and Sean Sherk, a matchup that would become the biggest rivalry of Sherk's career.
It is by far the most anticipated lightweight matchup in UFC history. BJ Penn, motivated, outspoken, and hungry. Sean Sherk, angry and very angry. He wants his belt back.
Actually, the only person who ever trash talked me was BJ Penn. Nobody ever
was talking crazy
me up until BJ did, and he did get in my head a little bit. It pissed me off. That's when I was going through the whole nandrolone thing. All I wanted to do was punch him in the face because he really made me mad.
Penn knocked Sherk out in the final seconds of round 3, becoming the fatality.
Damn!
Because he really made me mad.
Penn knocked Sherk out in the final seconds of round 3, becoming the undisputed UFC lightweight champion.
Would you say that his trash talk?
It worked. Yeah, it worked. Yeah, it worked.
After the loss to Penn, Sherk had 3 fights left in him. He first earned a hard-fought decision win over Tyson Griffin, a performance that also earned Fight of the Night honors. He then lost his next bout to Frankie Edgar.
I remember Dana White praising Frankie Edgar after his Sean Sherk fight. Because Sean Sherk, and by the way, let me add, pre-USADA, Sean. The muscle shark. Oh, he had muscles coming out everywhere. He had no neck. He's known for his ability to take punishment and keep coming and just take guys down and put elbows in their face.
He work out.
Put it on him that night.
In his final fight, Sherk faced rising prospect Evan Dunham, winning a razor-close split decision. The result was met with loud boos from the crowd, bringing a controversial end to his UFC career.
A muscle shark, Sean Sherk.
Sean Sherk.
Why they booing him? Why they?
However, chronic injuries, especially extensive hip damage from years of heavy wrestling and training, prevented any comeback. By September 2013, Sherk announced his official retirement from competition.
38 years old, but I think somewhere in the back of my head, I kind of knew. I was battling so many injuries. I had bulged disc in my neck. Both of my shoulders were torn. I separated a rib that healed wrong. Both of my hips were torn. Both of my knees were torn. I didn't want to be one of those guys that was going to hang around the sport for way past my prime and end up with 2 2 or 3 losses in a row. I decided that I would rather be around long term for my children and not cause any more damage to myself.
He finished with a distinguished 36-4-1 record and is often ranked among the all-time great lightweights.
So when I left the industry, my goal was to start running businesses and just be so busy and so engulfed in my businesses that I would never be drawn to fight again out of necessity or need. So I always knew I was going to have to walk away from the sport and reinvent myself.
In retirement, Sherk has remained connected to MMA, but largely shifted focus to business and family. He is a husband and father living in Minnesota. Notably, Sherk took his exit strategy seriously. He launched ventures well before leaving the sport, including involvement with fitness products like Training Mask, and later moved heavily into home renovation and contracting. By 2016, he had already flipped dozens of houses.
How many houses did you flip?
I do anywhere from 8 to 12 a year.
So you buy them cash, renovate them, sell them.
Yep. Reports at the time noted he had completed work on his 25th house in just 3 years. Sherk continues to spend long days doing remodels, often heading straight to job sites after morning gym sessions.
Basically, I want to do this myself. So I'd show up at the job, I'd follow everybody around, I'd watch what they're doing. It was the 6th house I bought first year. I decided just to do everything myself, and I've been doing all the work myself since then.
Years of fighting left him with torn shoulders, damaged knees, and deteriorating hips, but the same discipline that drove his fighting career fuels his work ethic in construction.
What I did as a fighter, of course, it helped me in the business world tremendously. It helps me. People know who I am all the time.
Sean Sherk's career was built on discipline, pressure, and relentless work ethic. He wasn't the flashiest fighter of his era, but he was one of the most driven, a man who forced opponents to break rather than outshine them. From the independent circuit to UFC champion, through controversy, rivalry, and eventual decline, Sherk's journey reflects both the brutal reality and the unforgiving nature of mixed martial arts. Long after the cage door closed behind him, his legacy remains that of a fighter who earned everything the hard way, through grit, endurance, and an unbreakable will.
I've got 2 goals in life: be the best fighter in the world. My other goal is I want to be the best father I could possibly.
I ain't gonna lie, man. He is like basically a shorter, like, you know what I'm saying, controlled version of Matt Hughes. But I mean, he only lost the champ. So hey, y'all already know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what y'all think about Sean Sherk. Let me know if y'all think he really was abusing them steroids. Let me know, man. But hey, I'm gonna see y'all in the next video. Y'all already know.